Cancer as a Metabolic Disease, on the Origin, Management, and Prevention, by Thomas N. Seyfried. Hello, DeftU Insights community. We've all been taught a very specific story about how our bodies work, especially when it comes to disease. We hear about genes, mutations, and complex biological pathways, often making health feel like a game of genetic lottery. But what if a significant part of that story is, if not entirely wrong, then at least fundamentally incomplete? What if our focus on the branches has kept us from seeing the root? Today, we're diving into a paradigm-shifting understanding of one of the most pervasive and feared diseases, cancer. For decades, the dominant view has treated cancer as a genetic problem, a disorder of rogue genes causing uncontrolled growth. But a growing body of evidence, meticulously compiled and rigorously debated, suggests a different, more unifying perspective. Cancer is primarily a metabolic disease. This isn't just an academic distinction. It's an insight that redefines our understanding of health, disease, and how we can effectively prevent and manage some of the most challenging conditions. We're going to distill this profound shift into 5 actionable lessons, not just about cancer, but about how our entire biological system functions, how to look for deeper causes, and how to cultivate resilience. These are universal principles that empower you to think differently about your health, beyond the surface-level symptoms. Let's get started. Lesson 1. Beyond the genetic lottery, unveiling disease's metabolic roots. For a long time, the prevailing narrative about many diseases, especially cancer, has revolved around our genes. We're told it's about accumulating mutations, faulty DNA, or a roll of the genetic dice. This perspective has driven massive research efforts into mapping genomes and developing highly specific, personalized drug therapies. But what if this gene-centric view, while not entirely false, distracts us from a more fundamental cause? One powerful idea is that many complex diseases stem not from primary genetic defects, but from a deeper underlying energy problem within our cells. Think of it this way. Imagine your body is a high-performance vehicle. The engine is its energy system, specifically the cellular machinery that creates power. The dashboard lights, sensors, and computer readouts are like your genes and genetic expressions. If your engine starts to misfire, perhaps due to poor fuel, neglect, or chronic stress, the dashboard lights will start flashing. You'll see warning signs, error codes, and system failures. In the context of health, those flashing dashboard lights, the thousands of gene mutations, chromosomal abnormalities, and genetic chaos observed in many diseases, might actually be secondary effects or compensatory mechanisms, rather than the primary cause of the engine's malfunction. Our efforts to fix disease by targeting these genetic readouts or by trying to change a specific flashing light on the dashboard are often akin to replacing a faulty sensor while ignoring the sputtering engine beneath the hood. The core issue isn't the warning light, it's the compromised power source. This shift in perspective challenges us to look beyond the obvious symptoms and ask, what is the fundamental breakdown in the system's energy production? When we understand that the genetic chaos is often a downstream consequence of a fundamental metabolic disturbance, it opens up entirely new avenues for prevention and management, moving from fixing individual warning lights to restoring the integrity of the engine itself. It reminds us that sometimes the most complex problems have a simpler, more foundational explanation. Lesson 2. Your inner power plant, why mitochondrial health is non-negotiable. If the idea that diseases originate from an energy problem resonates with you, then the next logical question is, where does this energy come from? The answer lies in microscopic organelles within almost every one of your cells, the mitochondria. Often called the powerhouses of the cell, mitochondria are far more than just energy generators. They are central command centers for cellular health, differentiation, and even the stability of your genetic material. Consider your body as a thriving metropolis, and each cell a bustling building within it. The mitochondria are the power plants for those buildings, constantly generating the energy, ATP, needed for every single function: growth, repair, signaling, and even maintaining the integrity of the building's structure. When these power plants are running optimally, the city thrives. Everything works in harmony, and systems like waste disposal and maintenance, DNA repair, are efficient. However, if these mitochondrial power plants become damaged, perhaps due to environmental toxins, chronic inflammation, or relentless stress, the cell's energy supply becomes compromised. It's like a city's power grid starting to fail. Initially, the city might try to compensate, perhaps by firing up backup generators, fermentation pathways, that are less efficient and produce more waste. But over time, this chronic energy deficit triggers a cascade of disorder. DNA repair mechanisms falter, cell division becomes sloppy, and the cell can lose its original identity, moving towards a more primitive, survival-focused state. The city becomes chaotic, its structures unstable, and its functions compromised. A key insight here is that mitochondrial damage isn't just about less energy. It actively precedes and drives many of the problems we associate with disease, including genomic instability. Your mitochondria are the ultimate guardians of your cellular integrity. Nurturing their health isn't just about feeling energized, it's about preserving the fundamental operating system of your entire being, influencing everything from disease prevention to healthy aging. It's a reminder that truly robust health starts at the most fundamental level, with the efficiency of your cellular power plants. Lesson 3. The Fuel Divide: Harnessing Metabolic Inflexibility Against Disease. Once we understand that disease can stem from a primary energy dysfunction, the next crucial lesson reveals a profound vulnerability that can be exploited for therapeutic benefit. It's about the stark difference in how healthy cells and diseased cells generate and use energy. Healthy cells possess remarkable metabolic flexibility. They are like versatile hybrid vehicles, capable of running efficiently on different fuel sources depending on availability. If glucose is plentiful, they use it. If glucose is scarce, they can smoothly switch to alternative, highly efficient fuels like ketone bodies, which are derived from fats. This adaptability is an ancient evolutionary advantage, allowing our bodies to thrive even during periods of food scarcity. Diseased cells, however, particularly those characterized by compromised mitochondrial function, often lose this metabolic flexibility. They become highly rigid, almost addicted to specific fuel sources, primarily glucose and, for many aggressive forms, glutamine. They're like an old, inefficient muscle car that can only run on high-octane gasoline. Their damaged mitochondria can't efficiently process alternative fuels like ketones, forcing them to rely on less efficient fermentation pathways, which are fueled almost exclusively by glucose and glutamine. This metabolic inflexibility creates a powerful therapeutic window. Imagine you have a garden where some plants are healthy and thriving while others are invasive weeds. If you know the weeds can only grow in a specific type of soil with a particular nutrient, but the healthy plants are adaptable and can use many different soils and nutrients, you can strategically alter the environment. You can reduce the specific nutrient the weeds crave while providing alternative nutrients that the healthy plants can still use. In the body, this translates to strategies that restrict glucose and glutamine while providing healthy cells with abundant alternative fuels like ketones. Normal cells adapt, switching to ketones and becoming even more resilient. Diseased cells, unable to make the switch, become starved and vulnerable, leading to growth arrest or even programmed cell death. Understanding this fundamental fuel divide is key to developing intelligent, non-toxic strategies that selectively target diseased cells while nourishing and strengthening healthy ones. It highlights the power of strategic deprivation in one area to create profound resilience in another. Lesson 4. The micro-ecosystem of disease: How context fuels pathology. When we think about disease, we often focus on the individual cell or organ. But a crucial lesson is that disease never exists in a vacuum. It's profoundly shaped, sustained, and even driven by its immediate surroundings, its micro-ecosystem. The context, the soil in which a problem grows, often dictates its behavior and potential for spread. Consider a small spark. In a dry, oxygen-rich environment with plenty of kindling, it can quickly become an uncontrolled blaze. In a damp, oxygen-deprived environment, it fizzles out. The spark itself might be the initial insult, but the environment determines its fate. Similarly, in the body, chronic inflammation, specific nutrient availability, and even the types of cells interacting in a local area can create a highly permissive environment for disease progression. Take, for instance, the complex phenomenon of metastasis, where disease spreads from its primary site to distant parts of the body, causing the vast majority of disease-related mortality. Traditional views often attribute this to complex genetic changes allowing cells to transform and invade. However, a powerful alternative perspective suggests that metastatic cells might often arise from a different lineage altogether, or from hybrid cells formed by the fusion of diseased cells with cells from our immune system, like macrophages. Macrophages are naturally programmed for migration, invasion, and survival in harsh environments. If these highly mobile cells, or cells fused with them, suffer mitochondrial damage and become metabolically compromised, they could essentially become the seeds of metastasis, already equipped with the tools to travel and establish new outposts. This means that factors like chronic inflammation, which damages mitochondria and attracts immune cells, create the perfect storm. The soil becomes fertile for aggressive spread. This lesson teaches us that addressing disease isn't just about targeting individual abnormal cells. It's about understanding and actively managing the entire microecosystem. By recognizing how inflammation, nutrient imbalances, and cellular interactions foster disease, we gain leverage to prevent its establishment and disrupt its spread. It's about shifting the focus from just the bad seed to cultivating healthy soil and understanding the complex interplay that allows pathology to take root and flourish. Lesson 5. Empowering your health: simple metabolic principles for prevention and resilience. The ultimate power of understanding disease from a metabolic perspective is the actionable control it gives you over your own health. If chronic respiratory insufficiency and a reliance on inefficient fermentation are at the core of many diseases, then the most effective strategies for prevention and management must focus on protecting and restoring mitochondrial function and strategically manipulating the fuels available to cells. Think of your body as a garden that needs careful tending. You want to nourish the healthy plants and selectively prune the weeds. One of the most potent tools for this is simple, yet often misunderstood, strategic energy reduction, whether through therapeutic fasting or a carefully structured diet like a restricted ketogenic diet. This isn't about starvation. It's about creating a physiological state where your healthy cells thrive and metabolically compromised, potentially diseased cells struggle. It's like diverting the water supply from invasive weeds while channeling it directly to your prized plants. This approach goes beyond just starving unhealthy cells. Strategic energy reduction also triggers powerful protective mechanisms in your body. It reduces inflammation, enhances your natural cellular recycling and repair processes, autophagy, and can even selectively induce programmed cell death in abnormal cells, all while boosting the overall health and resilience of your normal tissues. It's a natural, evolutionarily conserved mechanism that leverages your body's innate wisdom to prune away the inefficient and strengthen the vital. This lesson is a profound reminder that you possess immense power to influence your health destiny. By making conscious choices about what you fuel your body with and when, you can create an internal environment that actively prevents disease, builds resilience, and supports your cell's optimal function. It empowers you to move from passively reacting to disease to proactively cultivate a state of robust metabolic health. Conclusion. We've journeyed through 5 crucial insights that challenge the conventional wisdom about disease, particularly cancer. We've explored the idea that many complex conditions aren't just a genetic lottery, but stem from a deeper metabolic imbalance within our cellular power plants, the mitochondria. We've seen how this fundamental energy problem drives the very hallmarks of disease, from genetic chaos to uncontrolled growth and spread. And most importantly, we've uncovered the profound vulnerability of metabolically rigid cells and the immense power you hold to influence your health through strategic fuel management. The core message here is one of empowerment. Understanding that disease can be a metabolic issue rather than solely a genetic one opens up incredible new pathways for prevention, management, and even healing. It shifts the narrative from helplessness to informed action. You have more control over your body's internal environment than you might think. By protecting your mitochondria, fostering metabolic flexibility, and consciously managing your cellular fuel, you can build a formidable defense against disease and cultivate a state of vibrant, resilient health. This isn't about quick fixes or magic pills. It's about fundamental principles that resonate with our evolutionary biology. So I encourage you to delve deeper, question assumptions, and consider how these metabolic insights can transform your approach to well-being. Your body is an incredibly adaptive system. Give it the right environment, and it will surprise you with its capacity to thrive. If these insights resonated with you, hit that like button, subscribe to DeftU Insights for more deep dives, and share this video with anyone who could benefit from a fresh perspective on health. Let's continue to explore the frontiers of human potential together.